The Millennium Falcon is no longer the biggest LEGO Star Wars set. That title now belongs to the Death Star. This set will cost $1,000 when it releases in October. This is something LEGO never would have done even 10 years ago. But how did we get to a point where LEGO is constantly putting out bigger and bigger sets? Well, I'll be answering that in today's video. But first we need to go way back to find out how this radical change in LEGO's pricing has happened. In 2002, LEGO released the Ultimate Collector Series Imperial Star Destroyer. Having over 3,000 pieces, it was the biggest LEGO set of all time when it came out. Then in 2007, LEGO released the UCS Millennium Falcon. Having 5,197 pieces, it overtook the record for the biggest LEGO set of all time. This was a minifigure scale Millennium Falcon that needed its own dedicated spot in the house, like a grand piano. The build is truly astonishing, breaking new boundaries for LEGO. Many people thought the minifigures were lacking though, including me, as there was nothing particularly special. 10 years later in 2017, the UCS Millennium Falcon was remade, with over 2,000 more pieces, having a total of 7,541 pieces. It was the largest and best set by quite a margin. In every LEGO store it was a centerpiece, not only to the Star Wars section but to the entire store. Nothing was quite like the Millennium Falcon, not only in size and price, but also in detail. I always thought it would stay that way. The 2007 Millennium Falcon didn't sell very well, but now in 2017, the market was there, and they were flying off the shelves. People were scalping them and everything. But after the success of the UCS Millennium Falcon, LEGO began making more bigger sets. The next year, LEGO remade the UCS Star Destroyer. It had 3,000 less pieces than the Falcon, but it was actually bigger, somehow. 2 years later in 2020, LEGO did what many people thought would be structurally impossible. They made the UCS 8080. This set had just under 7,000 pieces and retailed for the same price as the Millennium Falcon, £735. This set made use of a lot of technique and was so intricately put together that it needed to make use of a screwdriver, built out of Lego to articulate the legs. I had it for a week because some tosser sold me it glued, but I thought it just looked a bit like a dead dog. It certainly was big enough. Now let's take a look at LEGO as a whole. They had introduced a new marketing scheme, 18+ sets with black boxes appealing to adults with phrases like adults welcome. This essentially meant adults didn't feel guilty when they spent £500, or maybe even £1,000 as we'll see later, on LEGO. There was a notable shift to larger LEGO sets. The title of biggest LEGO set, something that would rarely be overtaken, was getting overtaken every year. At least. We got the 10,000 piece Eiffel Tower that's taller than my cousin. £550. The Colosseum, 9,000 pieces, £550. The LEGO Titanic set was random, but nobody can deny it looks amazing. It's the longest LEGO set ever made. It wasn't licensed under the Titanic movie, so there was no minifigures. Same as the Colosseum and the Eiffel Tower, which I think in all three instances is pretty disappointing. A good exclusive minifigure in a set that costs more than a car or a Brompton goes a long way. The world map has 11,695 pieces, winning the official title for largest LEGO set. Probably the best price per piece for those of you who care. This also happened with Star Wars. We had the Razor Crest based on a recent TV show and released during its lowest point of popularity, and it didn't help that it got blown up last season. I love Mandalorian, but it did get blown up. But that wasn't it. We also got the Venator, Sail Barge, and so much more, all in such a short time. In 2023, LEGO Lord of the Rings made a much anticipated comeback in a £430 set released under LEGO Icons, and yes, it was 18+. The set is, in my opinion, the greatest LEGO set of all time, but anybody looking for a Lord of the Rings set in 2023 had one choice, and that was an expensive one. This was followed up by another set, Barad-dûr. This is one of the tallest LEGO sets ever, being taller than Frodo's canonical height of 3'6". Where before we got this Rivendell, now we have this. So yes, the new sets are brilliant, but they are so expensive, it's like LEGO are purposefully creating their own gap in the market. The classic LEGO themes castle, pirates and space have made brief comebacks through LEGO Icons. In 2023, the Lion Knight's Castle released. In 2020, the Pirates of Barracuda Bay released. In 2022, the Galaxy Explorer was released. We got a few smaller sets, but nothing under $100, unless you count gift of purchases, but that's a whole different discussion for another day. Like and subscribe so you can see that video when I make it. Now in 2025, the adults welcome ideology has snuck into every corner of LEGO Star Wars, for the best and worst. The diorama, helmets and Starship Collection themes snuck in and took over the shelves, making the LEGO Star Wars section look like a part of space. Long gone were the days of beautiful box arts reminding you of Star Wars. Now it's just black. That brings us to the modern day and the introduction of the largest LEGO set of all time, and the first LEGO set to break the $1,000 price tag. When I first heard about this set, I wondered if it was really necessary, if it would have the same shelf presence as something like the Millennium Falcon. Now that there's full detailed photos, I think I was right. As you can see, it's like a mega diorama. This is pretty odd considering how the normal dioramas, as much as I love them, didn't exactly fly off the shelves. So why would they do something so experimental with such an important set as a $1,000 Death Star? Why didn't they just make it like the 2008 version with a panelled exterior? That's certainly what everyone else was expecting. But nevertheless, the set has been officially revealed and our greatest fears were proven true. Many people have called this the Death Slice, as not only is it a literal slice, but it appears to be about the same size as Barra 2 or the previous Death Stars, yet it will be breaking records for LEGO as the most expensive set released, ever. I don't want to dote on value because I don't just like talking about price because it's pretty boring. We're not a financial channel. I can become a financial channel if you guys want me to, but don't expect me to start talking about stocks. I'll just talk about like incremental price increases for LEGO. But $1,000, this does not look $1,000 worthy. I mean, you could buy 2 Eiffel Towers for that. So effectively, for a lot more money, you are getting a lot less. I know everyone talks about licensing, but I'm just looking at how much stuff you get. I know there's perceived value in the minifigures, but the figures aren't too good either. We're lacking simple things that are honestly frustrating. The type of things that would make M&R's blood boil. No dual molded legs on characters who clearly need them and have gotten them before. A lack of arm printing, and 6 stormtroopers. We get more in a battle pack. The non-canonical beach trooper does however have very impressive printing, and there should be 3 of that figure by the way. The set actually looks fairly good, but I don't know if it's quite on the same level as the other sets, or it doesn't quite feel like you're getting the full experience. Yes, I know a minifigure scale Death Star would be bigger than the Eiffel Tower, not the LEGO one, the real one in Paris. I'm not expecting a minifigure scale Death Star, of course, just something that doesn't feel so weird. By the way, I just want to say the reason there's only 1 beach trooper is probably so they're worth like £200 each, because if they included 3, they'd only be worth like 50. They like keeping their minifigure values. LEGO, it's a bit of a hidden thing nobody talks about, but whatever. I would say there's even less reason to make it open, as we already have 2 dioramas which have seemingly been reused and also made like half the size. If you look at the other big expensive LEGO sets, they are usually a complete thing, something that people have envisioned as LEGO sets for years. I think that's what makes the Millennium Falcon so special. That's all I have to say about the $1,000 Death Star, or at least how it came to be. I don't think anyone will really care to listen to my opinion since I do not have it in hand and I'm kind of late to this stuff. So that's why the first $1,000 LEGO set was created. I think it's pretty good, but I need to see it in person before I say my final thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching, and wow, lads, 50 subscribers. Honestly, that is pretty cool, yeah.
So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did so, like and subscribe so I can give James a Brompton. My friend dumped all of his Lego at my house and is refusing to tell me what to do with it. Don't know how I'm gonna sort that out. May the force be with all of you. Also, Lego, make a Yaddle minifigure.
If you like this video, go check out my others. They're all great, at least in my opinion, and I am very proud of them. Thanks for all the positive comments, and goodbye.